I want to go back to the down wall for some two more questions.
Sure.
So if you've seen the film, you know that the crux in the film, at least, is pitch 15, and it is a we'll just say a very challenging pitch, and it was super challenging for you. Tommy ends up getting through it, and you end up getting stuck there for a number of days, right? And I'm sure you've been asked all of the questions about pitch 15. So I'm going to try to ask something slightly original, but I may not. So you'll have to forgive me if I step on over trodden ground here. So I guess my first question is, you personally were trying to, you've been training on that pitch maybe 25 to 50 days, but you'd never quite nailed it. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you guys are trying to do it like in the push. Does that feel like a lot of pressure?
I mean, it was so unlikely that I was going to succeed on this climb. Like, forget pitch 15, just like in general. Like, when we set off on the push, Tommy had done every single pitch, in isolation. So he had that muscle memory and that confidence, knowing that I've done it before, I can do it again.
Right.
I had still never done without falling pitch 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, or 19. Basically all the hard ones.
Yeah.
So those were going to have to come together for the first time in the moment on the push.
But would you have been, with that being said, then would you guys have been okay if it was you were just playing the supporting role and supporting a really great climb?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key to a good partnership is putting the objective over your individual success.
Yep.
That's in the background. That's just kind of in the DNA of the partnership. So we didn't even spend any time talking about scenarios like that.
Mm-hmm.
We went up there just like, let's go to battle.
Yeah.
Let's go do our best.
Let's see if this thing is climbable. Let's see if it can be climbed. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, by the time we went for the push, we knew it was possible. Mm-hmm. We put in enough time that we knew it was possible, and then we knew that we were capable as well, which is like a totally different mindset to be in compared to where we started, 6 years prior. So, but it still had to all come together. We still had to get good weather. We still had to climb well.
Yeah. So on those days that you're in your portaledge day after day, you're climbing at night and resting during the day, your fingers are getting shredded. You keep popping off in a certain spot. I'm just bringing this back to the question of like, do I have what it takes? There must have been a real question mark on that question for you at that point in time. And I know as going through life in general, but any entrepreneur, I think, knows that feeling very, very well, where you're trying your best and you're thinking that your skills might not be matching your ambition, and they just might not be there. And I'm just curious about like how what your internal processing is whenever you're feeling those moments, and how do you process what happens for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, is you kind of you can get in some negative self-talk and get in a downward spiral if you're not careful. So how do you manage that, like mentally, emotionally?
Yeah. The answer really comes back to where we started with the fun scale. Like, what the fun scale teaches you about hardship is that, this is one of the key things I learned about the whole experience on the Dawn Wall, is that, that the fun scale teaches you how to expect hardship, embrace it when it comes, and enjoy it while you're in the thick of it, in a twisted kind of way, because that even though it sucks now, like, it's either going to be a great story or you're going to break through and you're going to succeed, or either way, like, it's all good. Like you're having such an epic experience. Like you're going to look back on this no matter the outcome and just be like, wow, that was something, you know? So expecting it, embracing it, and enjoying it. Those three things are so important when stuff gets hard. So
this comes back to the comfort and, you know, the pleasure or pain, right? If you are a type of person that's only comfortable in the pleasure, this sort of breakthrough could never happen, right?
Exactly. In a lot of ways, the presence of the hardship is actually an indicator that you're on the right path to like that question of discovering what you're capable of, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you're coming up against the edges and the boundaries of your limits, and that's a good thing, you know? So like that first night when I didn't do pitch 15, I remember so clearly just feeling like, you know, this is what we signed up for. You know, it's supposed to be hard. That first week getting up to that particular point, every day we had a goal. We got to get through 10, 11, 12. We got to get through 13 and 14. Whatever that goal was, we did it. It was hard. We were falling a lot, but we were getting through it. So this is the first time it was a setback in the schedule, you know, where we both didn't do what we set out to do. But I was like, it's only appropriate to put up a fight. Is kind of like what I was kind of feeling at the moment. Like, this is what I signed up for. And that's the expecting part of it, right? You got to expect that it's going to be hard so that when it does come, it's not a surprise. It's like going into a boxing match thinking you're not going to get punched in the face. You know, it's like, you know, you're going to get punched in the face. Yeah. So if you know that going in, it's probably a lot less shocking when it actually happens. But then you got to deal with it, right? I didn't know it was going to be a week-long battle. Yeah. But, man, there's that type 2 fun of like being in the battle. I missed that, you know, in my climbing. That was like such an epic, it took everything in my toolkit to break through that. But embracing it for that week and just like reveling in it, be like, yeah, like you're in it now, you know, like you're in it. Let's see what you got. And then that comes around to like the enjoying it, you know, it's like, yes, it's stressful. Yes, you want it. Yes, it's hard. But learning how to kind of enjoy those hardest moments as opposed to, you know, being down on them. So for that week in particular, there was not a lot of, if any, negative self-talk. Some doubt started to creep in, and we had to have some honest conversations around like how much time we could continue to spend in this like one spot. We had to check the weather, you know, we couldn't live up there forever. But the overarching kind of mindset going into the morning that I did it was just resolve. Like it felt like an ultimatum, even if it wasn't one. Like it felt like it had to happen that day, but I just felt resolved to do it. I didn't know I was going to do it. You know, it wasn't just like, oh, I'm going to do it today. It was just this really calm sense of resolve, and it manifested in just like some great, you know, calm mindset, flow state climbing that you dream of, that you get you know, not very often do you really get it on that level. But I got it that day. The stars were aligned.
Whenever you completed that pitch, I was teary-eyed, like as the viewer. I was so overwhelmed with I think because of the amount of that it required of you, you know. And it was really, you know, from a very you know, far away perspective, it was really cool to see you like persevere through that. You finish pitch 15, and then I think a couple hours later you do 16, right? Is it on the same day?
Yeah, same day. I had done the dyno in the daylight lots of times.
Gotcha.
But now it's dark. I had never done the dyno in the dark, and everything looks different in the dark. Like we practiced climbing at night for 6 years. You know, we knew what the holds look like illuminated by a headlamp, what the footholds look, because they look different, much
totally.
different. It's like watching a different movie when you're climbing at night versus climbing at day on the same section of rock. So I was totally unfamiliar with what the shadows look like at night with the headlamp doing the dyno, and like just your whole perception of where you are, because you can only see what's illuminated by your headlamp as opposed, you just have so much more awareness of your surroundings in the daylight, obviously, than you do at night. So that was like an added challenge for sure. But I mean, it was like such a pendulum swing of momentum after I got through 15 that, and I said this even before I did it, like in the thick of that struggle during the week, like if I get through 15, like there's nothing that's going to stop me after that.
Yeah.
Like I knew there was a lot of hard climbing, but I knew that if I could get through that, I could get through the rest. And it was not without a lot of battles and a lot of falling still between there and Wino Tower. But made it happen.
Well, I thought that dyno at night, which was just like incredible move. I felt like that vindicated, the days of being stuck on 15, and it felt like it was a pretty badass move. Is all I'm saying.
It felt pretty badass to stick it.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it
did.
Because
when you set up and you look 8.5 feet to the left, you're just like, there's no freaking way that this is actually possible. And then it works, and it's crazy.